The Roman Empire. Though its marble has crumbled, Rome's shadow still stretches across our language, laws, architecture, and our imagination. But what if that imagination became reality? What if some of Rome's greatest figures could step through a portal and see our world today? Caesar, Marcus Aurelius, Constantine. What would they think of us, the internet, McDonald's, of the civilization that came after theirs? Picture this. A glowing rift opens in modern-day Rome. Ancient men step out, wrapped in togas. To the onlookers, they seem like eccentric actors from a film set. To the emperors, the scene is nothing short of divine madness. Carts move without horses. Neon signs shine brighter than the temples of Jupiter. The Romans, terrified, fall to their knees. Are we among the gods? When police arrive to help, confusion deepens. The emperors speak in classical Latin, the ancestor of Italian but still alien to modern ears. The first problem they would face is this language barrier. Only with the help of translators would they grasp that 2000 years have passed, and that their empire, their world, has long since vanished. Their first stop? The Vatican, the only institution still speaking their language. Yet what a shock it would be. The symbol of Roman authority is now draped in crosses. Only Constantine would recognize Christianity at all, the faith he legalized but never fully understood. For the rest, the discovery that their old gods had been replaced by a singular one, and that Rome now bows to him, would be as humbling as it is ironic. A map beyond imagination. Once calm returns, the Romans study a modern map, and what they see would silence them. Continents beyond reckoning, the Americas, Africa, Australia at the edge of the world. Disneyland. Oceans once feared, now crisscrossed with trade routes and aircraft. Rome thought the world ended beyond Persia. Now they'd see cities larger than empires, towers scraping the heavens, and nations they never knew existed. They would realize something profound. Humanity had completed the conquest they once dreamed of. Not under one banner, but under countless flags. The world is united not by empire, but by connection. That, more than anything, would leave them in awe. The modern empire. As they walked our streets, the Romans would recognize something else. Order. The roads, the laws, the systems that keep our cities alive. They would see echoes of their own aqueducts in our plumbing, their armored legions in our police, their senate in our governments. Yet our speed, the instant communication via internet, the global scale of trade, would seem supernatural. The idea that a message could cross the world in a second would be as incredible as flight itself. But for all our might, something would puzzle them. Where's the empire? Rome believed the world must be united under one rule, their own. We live in a world of many powers, each checking the other. They might see this as chaos, or perhaps as balance. Everyday life/modern privilege. Eventually, curiosity would draw them into ordinary life. Malls, homes, families. Food from every corner of the globe. Fruits in winter, spices once worth fortunes, now sold for coins. Yet some things would confuse them. Tomatoes, potatoes, chocolate, all from lands they never knew existed. I believe they would relate and find some comfort and entertainment in the physical contact sports we watch today, like the NFL, NHL, and UFC, as it would remind them of the gladiators in their own coliseums. Just a lot lamer. Our equality between men and women would shock them most. In their world, a woman's life was bound to her father or husband. Marriage was duty, not desire. The notion of romance as freedom would seem reckless, but maybe enviable. They would marvel too at our medicine. Where childbirth once killed 1 in 10 women, it now kills almost none. Where plague once wiped out millions, we fight disease with invisible weapons. For a civilization that worshipped health as divine favor, our hospitals would look like a gift from the gods. And yet, not all of our advances would seem virtuous. When the Romans encountered our recreational drugs, they would recognize both curiosity and excess. They knew intoxication well, from the wine-soaked feasts of Bacchus to the herbal concoctions of their physicians, but they saw moderation as a civic duty. To them, our culture of chemical escape might look like an empire seeking to dull its own mind. I think social media would fascinate and disturb them. The Romans were masters of propaganda, of statues, slogans, and spectacle, but never before could every citizen sculpt their own image and broadcast it to millions. They might call it a new Colosseum of attention, where reputations rise and fall not by sword, but by the algorithm. Julius Caesar would recognize its power instantly. Marcus Aurelius would question whether such constant performance can coexist with inner peace. Education, too, would astonish them. In Rome, learning was privilege. In our world, it is expectation. They would walk through universities and libraries open to all and realize that literacy, once reserved for the elite, now belongs to billions. What they would think of us. Would the emperors admire us? Certainly. We achieved the dreams they could not. Would they pity us? Maybe. Our world, though vast, lacks unity. We have the wealth of 1,000 empires, but not the contentment of one. They may quietly remind us, you have conquered the earth, but have you conquered yourselves while doing so? They would see in our obsession with technology the same restlessness that once pushed Rome to overreach. And they might warn that power, without restraint, always brings decline. Lessons from the fallen empire. When they learned of Rome's end, not sudden but slow and internal, they would recognize patterns. Corruption, inequality, distraction, decadence. All the small cracks that grow until an empire forgets what it stands for. But they would also see our differences. Modern civilization has surpassed theirs in science, ethics, and empathy. We've turned conquest outward into exploration, invention, and the digital frontier. We carry their ambition but direct it into creation rather than domination. Perhaps that is humanity's true progress. In the end, the Romans would understand that their empire never really died. It evolved. Its bones lie beneath our cities, its words shape our speech, its vision of law and order lives in every modern nation. Standing atop the Colosseum's ruins at sunset, Augustus might look across the skyline of modern Rome, highways glowing, planes crossing the horizon, and whisper, Mare Nostrum. Still ours, in a way. The empires of men may fall, but civilization endures. It changes names, faces, and flags. Yet the fire that once burned in Rome still burns in us.